Ladies and gentlemen, football fans in particular, the football, the game where you throw the football, not the one that you kick on the ground. Anyways, this video, much like every single year when I make this video, is going to upset a lot of you. It's, you know, you're going to think I'm selling your team short, that I'm not giving your team enough credit, and that your team is going to be the Super Bowl champ, and, you know, oh, he doesn't understand my team and what they're doing, and blah, blah, blah. I understand, all right? You know, this is just a shot in the dark, and frankly, if you think your picks are all that much better, by God, leave your picks in the comments here below about who you think is going to make the playoffs, who's going to win in the playoff rounds, and who is going to come out as Super Bowl champion. And we'll see whose list is more accurate, because last year, oh my God, the Jets fans jumped on me for saying that their team is not a playoff team. And I was like, I don't know what Jets fans are looking at, because last I checked, Geno Stinkin' Smith was still your quarterback, and last I checked, their secondary, specifically their linebackers, were banged the fuck up. Like, I'm getting lectured that I don't know football because the Jets are supposed to be a playoff team. What did the Jets do last year? They got their coach fired. They got Geno Stinkin' Smith making Jets fans say, hey, you know, I kind of wish Tim Tebow was still here. Anyway, so no matter what, I know there's going to be a bunch of fans that jump on me and say that, yeah, I don't know about football and all that stuff. But anyways, go ahead, leave your picks below, and we'll take a look back here when February rolls around. Anyway, I'm going to give you playoff predictions first for the AFC, since, you know, NFC, I'm obviously going to deem the Eagles the Super Bowl champion. But you know what? Let's just actually start off with that. I was just being sarcastic about that. I want to tell you who I think is going to win Super Bowl 50. Let's just cut right to the chase, cut right to the end, tell you who the grand champion is going to be. This may shock a lot of you out there, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will not be winning Super Bowl 50, and you're going to be kidding if I'm going to just say the name of who the winner is going to be in the beginning of the video, please. Let's go through the conferences, the divisions, and pick the playoff seeding here first. Representing the AFC East, winning that division. Let me see here. What team out of the four should I pick from here? The Patriots. The duh pick. Representing the AFC West, winning that division in the first of many moves here that may surprise some of you. I see the Kansas City Chiefs winning the AFC West. Old Andy Reid back in the playoffs again after a one-year absence. Winning the AFC North, I see the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're the best team in that division. Now, another team in that division may go a little farther, but we'll get to that in a second. Or will they? Winning the AFC South. Oh boy, this is a tough one. Let's see, which is the best team out of the Jags, Texans, Titans, or Colts? Well, let me go ahead and use my common sense here and go another duh pick, the Colts. All right. You know, some of those aren't surprises, so, but now let's shake things up a little bit. The two wild card spots. The Oakland Raiders look like they're starting to really figure things out. They got a quarterback that actually knows how to throw the ball. But you got to be fucking kidding me if they're going to make the playoffs. They ain't making the playoffs. Get the hell out of here. The Denver Broncos. I mean, come on. The Denver Broncos, Peyton Manning's still there. Still got a good defensive line. Still got a good offensive line. Can run the ball. They got a lot of key pieces. But guess what? The Denver Broncos aren't making the playoffs this year. And frankly, Peyton Manning is one selfish motherfucker to even continue playing on this year. Like, just retire with as much health as you possibly can. I'm to the point that I don't even want to see Peyton Manning play anymore. There is nothing left that this man has to prove, and that's why he is selfish for coming back this year, especially after you just got your coach fired. One and done again in the playoffs, Peyton. And I don't see a team going anywhere. Frankly, I don't even see Peyton Manning finishing out the season. It's sad to say, and frankly, when he has a debilitating injury that knocks him out for the remainder of the season, you know, don't blame the sport. Blame partly the man and his selfish actions. Because honestly, I don't see this having a good ending here, if you want my honest opinion about it. And what else do you have left to prove, Peyton? You won a Super Bowl. You have the greatest career stats as far as regular season goes. You have no way of passing Tom Brady now as far as legacy in this era goes, especially after he won his 4th Super Bowl. Retire. So, who is going to win the wild card spots? I hate to say it, but the Tennessee Titans got Chip Kelly's boy, their quarterback, and Mariota is going to be the real deal. But he ain't making the playoffs in his rookie year. You crazy? Oh my God, I'm just teasing you guys left and right. The Chargers. Phillip Rivers, that is my first wild card team. I like the way Phillip Rivers plays. I always have. I don't know what it is. Some people call me crazy for liking Phillip Rivers. I just really like him. I have a soft spot in the deepest, darkest pit of my black coal heart for him. I see Rivers making another strong playoff push, and yeah, that's my first wild card team. Second wild card team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a team, obviously, with guys like Polamalu. Pouncey's out for the year with ankle. He had surgery on his ankle. Banged up in a lot of ways, but this is just one of those teams that just knows the formula to win. They know how to win. And they're going to be back in the playoffs, and they're going to be in as a wild card. By the way, as far as the seeding goes, I have the Colts with a bye and the Chiefs with a bye going into the playoffs. I have them as the 1 and 2. May shock you to see me put the Chiefs so high, but I see a team that is formed there in Kansas City that is very similar to the formula that Andy Reid had success here in Philadelphia with, and I think he's going to get a lot of wins. And they've got a reasonably soft schedule there, especially not making the playoffs last year there too. I just see this being like a potentially 11-12 win season for the Chiefs. So there you go. I'll get into the wild card round after I do the NFC picks. NFC East, I'm going to save that for the last here. Coming out of the NFC West, winning that division, let's see here. I think the Cardinals are going to make a solid push to win, and the Seahawks are coming off a very debilitating Super Bowl. You lose a guy like Maxwell to Philadelphia. You pick up Graham at tight end, and now you have a real proven, like not necessarily wide receiver, but a receiver threat that, you know, you didn't have like any top tier receivers on this team up until since Russell Wilson's been playing on the team. But that Cardinals team, that is a defense to be reckoned with. And I really don't see that Cardinals defense as much worse than the Seahawks defense right now. But I still have the Seahawks winning the NFC West. Winning the NFC North, the Packers. It's still Aaron Rodgers in charge of this team now. If both Nelson and Cobb were out, Cobb got like a sprained knee in that Eagles game, that Eagles preseason game. If coming off of losing Jordy Nelson the previous week and then losing Cobb the next week, I would have been like, oh, you can't really recover from that. You can't lose your two best receivers and just recover from that. But then again, this is Aaron Rodgers. I think he could make the playoffs with bench guys coming in at receiver. I really do. But he doesn't exactly have bench receivers there on that team. He's still got more than enough done to win the division. So look for the Vikings. Excuse me, Vikings. Look for the Packers to win the NFC North. as far as the NFC South goes, I would be hands down giving this to the Carolina Panthers without a shadow of a doubt if they didn't lose Kelvin Benjamin and their starting defensive end Alexander. Those two pieces alone are just enough to just debilitate, to be the difference of 2 to 3 wins, potentially. You just can't lose stars like that. Not that Benjamin's like this, big all-pro defensive end or anything like that, but, you have stuff that's going well, specifically on the defensive end of the ball. You lose Steve Smith to Baltimore last year, but then you draft Kelvin Benjamin, and it's like, holy shit, we got potentially the better version of Steve Smith playing for us now. Had over 1,000 yards receiving, had 8 or 9 touchdowns in his rookie year. And I'm like, wow, this guy is going to do special things in the future. And to see him tear his ACL, that broke my heart. I hate seeing such young and up-and-coming talent just have a year yanked out of them like that. And then you got to wonder, are they going to come back to their old form? Are they going to play as good? Are they going to play better? I really hate seeing young guys like that just, have a big piece of their career just yanked away. And a year that, the Panthers can't exactly just instantly recover from and just say, okay, we'll pick a wide receiver out of this scrap heap and just, throw them in there. Sorry, my voice is all iffy because I'm still under the weather. But anyways, can't give it to the Panthers. The NFC South winner will be the New Orleans Saints. I think it was an anomaly that the Saints played as bad as they did last year. They were nowhere near as bad as what their final record ended up being. They're much better than the 5-6 win team they ended up being, or they have 7. Who cares? It wasn't much. They were under 500. That's all that matters. Anyways, that's your division winners. Oh, except for the NFC East. Just hands down right now, and you could say I'm sipping the Kool-Aid or whatever, but I think the Eagles are not only going to win this division, but they're going to win the NFC East by at least 2 games. By at least 2 games. Did you hear me down there in Dallas? I think this is an absolutely 12-13 win type Eagles team here. And I have no reservations about that. I think they're considerably better than last year. And I don't want to go too much into details because I'm going to do a whole separate video about what I think about this Eagles team and where I think they're going to, flounder and rise to the top as far as what they got bundled together this year. But I see them win the NFC East. And as far as the wild cards go, I said the Panthers weren't going to win the NFC South. But that's still a really, really good defense there. You got one of the best tight ends in the game still there. Cam is Cam. I'm sorry, but I don't have them with the wild card spot this year. I'm sorry, I don't. But there is a team that is also good on defense. Plays for that division known as the NFC West. The Arizona Cardinals, very good all-around team. Still really don't have a quarterback that I really think is going to take them anywhere beyond a potential win or 2 in the playoffs. But you know what? They're not even going to make the playoffs this year either. My first wild card pick may shock you, but I like the Vikings' chances. I like them. I think Adrian Peterson's going to just come back to regular form. I think Teddy Bridgewater is the real deal. And I see them getting in the playoffs with the wild card spot. I like them apples. Who else is going to make the playoffs? Oh, Dallas, you know I got nothing but love for you. Dallas has one of the best offensive lines, if not the best offensive line in all football. Dez Bryant is arguably one of the best. I put him behind Megatron as far as wide receivers go. And, you got a great offensive line, and Tony Romo, as much flack as people give him, that's a guy who can get things done. I mean, when he's off, he can be the guy that screws it up, but you know what? He's on more than he's off. But guess what, Dallas? I don't see you making the playoffs. But you know who I do see making the playoffs? You know who I do see making the playoffs? You know who I do see winning a wild card spot? You know who I do see winning a wild card spot? I see those little G-men that could, the New York Giants, getting a wild card spot. You may think I'm crazy, I'm insane, or whatever. Think what you will. But I honestly think, one, the Giants have a very, very favorably soft schedule. I think the Cowboys absolutely do not have a favorably soft schedule, especially now that you have to play Tom Brady. Thought you got away with that. Old Deflategate was going to help you out there, Dallas, didn't you? Yeah, oh, God, got to play against Garoppolo. Ha, ha, ha. Yoink. Sorry. T-Braid's going to be on the field. T-Braid. Like, what the hell? Did I just seriously say that? Oh, God, that was gay in a total homo way. But that's okay. Anyway, one of the reasons why is I see a lot of people sleeping on the Giants, and whenever people sleep on the Giants, they become the little G-men that could come out of nowhere and start impressing and winning Super Bowls. Yeah, Eli Manning ain't gonna win. He won the Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He ain't gonna do anything more. It's not like he's gonna win more Super Bowls than his brother. He won again, and he beat the Patriots again. He's Super Bowl MVP again. Oh my God. ODB is the shit. Cruz is gonna be back, and one of the main things that held the Giants down last year is they started the season with more men on the injured list than any other team in the NFL. When you start off like that, and you still aren't in the complete doldrums, like it's like, you know, they're not down with like the Redskins and the Raiders as far as last year went. They're like a middle of the pack team. I see them easily being, you know, 2 wins better than last year and getting a wild card spot. Absolutely. If that is so ridiculous for you to comprehend, then I don't know what to tell you. But I just, I hate the Giants. I wish I could say I confidently feel that team has no way of making the playoffs. And as far as you Dallas fans that are going to come on this video and bitch me out, you're going to be like, oh, you don't understand. Oh, what are you hating just because we don't have any big name running back in the backfield? I think what you're doing is fucking stupid in Dallas, and that's why I think they're not going to make the playoffs. And again, people, some guy was just popping off to me about like, oh, you feel confident in Philly with Bradford and Murray? Murray, he gets injured every now and then, and Bradford, it's a matter of time before he goes out. Oh, like Tony Romo's never been injured? Like he's not a hit away from being a career ender? But it's okay. You got the best offensive line in football. You can put anyone back there. You can pick some guy that the Raiders threw away, throw him back there and expect him to put up numbers. Could you Dallas fans, especially you educated ones, especially ones that can actually remember when Dallas was good? Those are the people that can actually remember when Dan Marino played football. Dan Marino, every year in and year out, one of the biggest priorities for the Miami Dolphins was to stack that offensive line. Dan Marino always had a top-tier, top-notch offensive line in front of him. Now, could all you Dallas fans that are going to call me crazy for saying how you could put any guy behind that line in Dallas and expect big things, can anyone out there list off the names of all the great running backs that played on the Dolphins while Dan Marino was there? Could you list them off? That's what I thought. Shut the fuck up. I think what they're doing is so completely stupid. If they got anyone besides a guy that was thrown away by the Raiders, I just don't know how they think that they're just going to be, we'll just be a run and gun type passing team again. We won't rely on the run. DeMarco Murray was the reason why you guys had so much success. Yes, Tony Romo and Dez did a lot, But a lot of it was because you had defenses that had to respect the run, and if they didn't, they would get run the fuck over. Right now, you don't got a run game that's going to fear anyone. That's going to strike fear into anyone. They're going to zone in on passing. They're going to hone down on Dez. He's going to have shit numbers. Tony Romo's going to get picked out the ass, and that's why I don't see you guys winning. Because now you're a one-trick pony on offense. Suck on that. The Giants are making the playoffs and you're not. Fuck you. Anyways, that was for all the Dallas fans that are going to pop off here. We have a very love-love relationship here. Replace the word love with hate. Anyway, so as far as the seeding goes, I have the Eagles with the #1 seed and the Packers with the #2 seed. Now, the reason why I think the Eagles are going to go with the #1 seed is a significantly easier schedule than a team like the Packers that have to play #1 ranked teams in the conference. The Eagles have so many more winnable games, and you're playing the NFC South this year, which is a division that could very easily be an additional 4 wins for you. I just see the Eagles not necessarily as the best team in the NFC, but coming out of this year with the best record in the NFC. Or at least having a tiebreaker over the #2 team, which I think is going to be the Packers. So, going into the wild card round, I have, let's start with the AFC here. Just make sure I got the, okay, yeah, I thought I didn't say one of the wild card teams in the NFC. Anyways, wild card round. I have the Steelers at the Patriots. Good fucking game. Can't wait to see that when it happens. Probably won't happen. And the Chargers at Ravens for the AFC. NFC, Vikings at Saints. And the New York G-Men at the Seattle Seahawks. Winners of the wild card round. The Patriots. Duh. Phillip Rivers, nice final push into the playoffs. This might be the final time you make the playoffs, but the Ravens are knocking you out, especially at home. So, I have the Patriots and Ravens advancing. NFC, Vikings at Saints. I think we have our first upset here. I see the Vikings going over on the Saints. I see them going over on them in New Orleans. I just see it. I just see it like that. I'm crazy. I'm crazy. And the New York G-Men at the Seattle Seahawks. I think Seattle's in for a mighty big surprise. I'm just fucking with you, Giants. You aren't winning. Seahawks are going to win that one. Anyways, divisional rounds for the AFC. We have the Patriots at, oh, looky what we have here, the Indianapolis Colts. Oh, Deflategate rematch. Woo! Ah, I can't wait to see that. Probably won't happen. And the Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. NFC. We have a dramatic accentuation there. NFC. The Minnesota Vikings at the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Seattle Seahawks. Oh boy, we have a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. Seattle Seahawks, only this time it is at Green Bay. See, a lot of times when I look at these, I just like, I'm thinking of dream scenarios of what I want to see, not so much what I logically think is going to happen, but there is logic to this as well. Anyways, Pats at Colts, a Deflategate rematch. Colts added Harriman to the offensive line. T.Y. Hilton's going to have a monster year, especially if he stays healthy. And Andrew Luck is the next big thing as far as quarterbacks go in the NFL. You can argue that he's a big thing now, but he is the next big thing that is going to potentially win a Super Bowl and maybe this year, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. I see the Colts getting retribution, especially now that they actually have a running back. My God. When's the last time you could say, well, at least the Colts have a running back? They haven't had a running back in years. They've had a guy that lines up in the backfield and attempts to run the ball. Like a guy that you give a first-round pick to Cleveland for. I still don't know what the fuck they were thinking doing that. But anyways, Frank Gore, not that he's going to be like, a 1,600-yard rusher or anything like that. He's a good, solid 1,000 to 1,200 yards type rusher. But see, adding 1,000-plus yard rusher to this team makes this team lethal. And that is why they're going to avenge Deflategate. And they're going to stomp that Patriot ass right in Indianapolis. Ravens at the Chiefs. Like I said, this Chiefs team is a team that is, well, obviously with Maclin there, it's a piece that Andy Reid picked out of the draft when he was here at Philadelphia. I just see so much reminiscent of the Philadelphia Eagles that Andy Reid had assembled here in Philadelphia that he won with. But honestly, I see the Ravens going into KC and whooping that ass. So, we have the Ravens and Colts advancing in the conference championship of the AFC. Get to that in a second. We have the Vikings and Eagles. Let's hold off on that. Because we got the Seahawks at Packers. Sorry, I rarely edit, but the phone rang and it was a call I had to take. Sue me. Anyways, Vikings at Eagles. Like I said, we're going to hold off on that for a second. Seahawks at Packers. Rematch from last year's NFC Championship game. Only this time, it's in Green Bay. Clash of the Titans. I got nothing else to hype this up with. The Packers are going to win. It's at Lambeau. It's Aaron Rodgers, man. He's going to win. Vikings at Eagles. Chip Kelly, it'd be nice if you won a fucking playoff game this year. It would really be nice. And I see the cards fall in the Eagles' way, especially if they get that 1 seed and get that bye. Whoo, boy. Vikings don't have enough to beat the Eagles, especially this Chip Kelly assembled Eagles. The Eagles are going to the NFC Championship game against the Packers, and they got home field advantage. Oh my God. No way. If only that was true. But let's go back over to the AFC because we have the Ravens at the Colts. My gosh. Colts. Cut to the chase. Wasn't going to draw that out. Anyways, no disrespect to the Ravens, but Colts are going to win, especially if it's at home. And I don't know. I don't like Flacco. I know. He's got 6 stats in the playoffs. I know. I see his stats in the playoffs. I don't like Flacco. I just don't like him. He's a Jersey guy too. I don't like him. Packers at Eagles. Chip Kelly. If there's a year to get it done, this is the year. In all honesty, people, until I see this Eagles team beat a team like the Patriots, beat a team like the Packers, beat a team like Seattle, I can't kid myself into believing that they can beat them. So, what I want Chip Kelly to do is prove me wrong. Get to the NFC Championship game, face a team like the Packers or Seattle, either one, and prove me wrong. Because I'll tell you what, I don't see you beating the Packers, even at home. I see the Packers and the Colts in the Super Bowl. Sorry, Eagles fans. I can't have my blinders on that tight. I don't honestly see a Super Bowl this year. But prove me wrong, Chip. Prove me wrong. Super Bowl 50. we have the Colts, Packers. It's, I would say at Packers, but there's obviously no home field advantage. It's in San Francisco, so. That's a huge, huge, huge matchup. That is like a quarterback dream matchup. To see two teams like that face off in the Super Bowl, my God. My God. I'm getting hard just thinking about that. Is that gay? Probably. Anyway, it's amazing that, you know, so much of the Colts' downfall last year was simply because, Jesus Christ, a dumpster just fell out of heaven. Anyway, sorry, God. Are you an Eagles fan? I should have picked the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. Anyway, this is a dream matchup as far as seeing two quarterbacks go head-to-head with Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck. And so much of what I saw the Colts' downfall last year is that teams just didn't have to scheme against the run because there was no run game to think of. And the fact that that Andrew Luck got such good stats out of, you know, just pretty much T.Y. Hilton being the only one go-to receiver on the team, it just blows my mind. Did I go out of focus there? Okay, there we go. Jeez. All sorts of shenanigans happening here. And the fact that you got Frank Gore there, and again, Frank Gore doesn't have to set the world on fire. He just has to be an impressive go-to running back at least 80% of the time. And that team, I don't see anyone beating them. And I think they are going to be that team. And I see the Colts winning the Super Bowl. So there you have it. Colts, Super Bowl 50. Andrew Luck, he's gonna have a playoff beard down to here by the time he holds up the Lombardi Trophy. It's gonna be sick. Hope he braids it and makes it multicolored, so like, you know, support gay marriage or something. I don't know. I'm just talking rhetoric here, and I've talked on long enough. So there you go. That's my predictions. Cowboys fans, bring on the hate, bring it on, and we'll watch your team fall. Watch your team. Maybe you can sit down there with the Redskins and keep them company this year, you know, because they got pretty lonely last year. And they'll be like, oh, hey, you guys are back again. We haven't seen you in a couple of years. Come on down. Come on down. RG3, he's not here anymore. They sent him somewhere else. Dan Snyder wants to keep him here, but they ended up sending him somewhere else. Anyways, that's my picks as I see them. Love them or hate them. I know a lot of you are going to hate them, and I know there's going to be a number of Jets fans that are going to say, no, we're making the playoffs this year. And then I have a feeling like some Bills fans are going to pop off. It's like, who's your quarterback? Always your quarterback. You went into last week with 3 probable quarterbacks on your team. Stop. Anyways. It's going to be a fun season. That is all. It's not all. Fuck the Dallas Cowboys. Have a good day, everyone.